Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to our channel. And we have just witnessed, unfortunately, another loss for West Ham at home against Liverpool. Unfortunately, my prediction didn't come through. So, yeah, disappointing, Alf. 2-0 defeat to Liverpool. I mean, should we have expected more? Were we getting carried away in our preview?
I think possibly not so much by the result. I don't think so. I think maybe possibly more in the way we would put them under pressure. I think we were just a little bit lacking that department. I think we tried. I don't think there wasn't any effort there. I think we tried. We had our opportunities. Another day, if Snodgrass had put his, effort away, Rice, if Lanzini had taken his opportunity, it would be a different scoreline, of course. But
Alf, just quickly while you're there, guys, we are live at the Olympic Stadium right now. We're joined by Stell, who's just come out of the game. Stell, I know you're not going to stay on with us for long, but just a little brief overview before we start digging in a little bit deeper. Starting lineup. Well, go for it.
Starting lineup. Good to see Fabianski back. Kind of brings a little bit of stability to the team. Antonio, as I predicted, he was holding his hamstring at the weekend, and lo and behold, he wasn't even on the subs bench. I really, honestly, with the greatest of respect to him, don't know why Lanzini started yet again. But Ant, you sent me some stats in the first half about him, which really surprised me because he looked really poor, and he looked even worse in the second half. Masuaku, what Moyes is doing, he's picking a team that he remembers from the first time he was managing us. And unfortunately, some of the players he's picking are not the same sort of players. Certainly Masuaku isn't, and certainly Lanzini isn't. You got Fornals, all right, he came on, but he came on at the 67th minute, didn't really do much. But there's absolutely no reason why Fornals isn't starting ahead of Lanzini in my eyes. Yeah. And we are desperately short in the midfield, which is why Masuaku started, because he did absolutely nothing in this game. And Moyes has got to stop mucking around with all the players that he relied on when he was first here, and he's got to start looking at other players. All credit to him for starting Ngakia as right back, and the boy did credit to himself. He wasn't, he looked a little bit uneasy in the first sort of 10-15 minutes, but he came into the game, he looked quite comfortable. But what Moyes has got to do is got to start giving other players a chance. Thank God we've signed Souček because we need that in midfield. I don't know, lads. The first half we were comfortable, and then of course VAR, and the irony, apparently people were saying in the stadium that VAR wasn't checking for the penalty; it was checking for a bloody handball. And the thing is,
I thought it was.
The player was offside. And he weren't a foul. And yet again, VAR has gone against us. And up to that point, in fact, the whole first half, we were actually all right. We were doing okay. And then the sucker punch, with, having a corner, and for goodness sake, they broke quickly. And they deserved their second goal. But, honestly and truly, up to that point, the team looked comfortable, but we are woefully lacking in strength in depth. Snodgrass, great to see him back, but he did nothing. I'm sorry, lads. It's disappointing because we weren't outplayed, ironically. And that team that was picked was all right, but I wouldn't have picked Lanzini. I would have picked Fornals.
And guys, thanks very much for joining us. That's our review tonight, so we'll see you tomorrow. I was joking still. Literally just gave us the whole overview of the game. Well done, that's good. Anyway, listen, hopefully we haven't lost Stell. If we have, we'll try and bring him back in. Alf, Stell there was talking about team selection to start with. We welcomed Fabianski back. I'm not a believer of rushing him into it. I don't think the fans or the West Ham team would have rushed him back into it. I tell you what, he definitely saved us tonight. He made some fantastic saves.
He certainly did. Fabianski is back. We need him.
And Ngakia, for me to be honest, mate, 19 years old, first ever game coming up against the future champions of the Premier League. I thought he'd done really well, mate. Like,
I thought he was getting forward really well. I think he was cutting inside. He was taking on players or putting the ball past players. I think, just a little bit of quality in that final ball, that final cross, but at least the ball was getting across from him. At least he was putting in those crosses. So I thought it was a good first debut for him, first performance from him. So did well.
Absolutely. Still, we're just talking about Ngakia, 19-year-old boy coming up, his first debut, obviously first game for West Ham, up against a really tough opposition in Liverpool. So, he did well.
He did really well. Yeah. I think for coming into a game against Liverpool, I've got about 2 minutes before my battery dies. By the way, so if I disappear. But coming in against Liverpool, like I said, at the start he was a little bit nervous, and who wouldn't be? First Premier League debut, especially against the runaway league leaders. But all credit to the boy. He settled into the game, and he was all right. I think he was absolutely fine. All credit.
I mean, there was a kind of element. I mean, I don't want to say it's an element of blame for the first goal. So you can start. Let's look at the first goal in particular that we conceded, the penalty. Firmino looks like he handles the ball. With the new rule, the ball to hand doesn't matter in what way. It subtly looks like it touches it. So in most games throughout the season, that probably would have been given as a handball. What both your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was a handball.
Well,
you don't
absolutely.
If there's a doubt, it's a handball for me.
Absolutely. If it was against us, it would have been given as a handball. And yet again, VAR goes for Liverpool. There's no reason that, it was a handball and it was an offside, and yet they got a penalty. And that's the nature of our luck at the moment. When you're down at the bottom, decisions go against you, and VAR is just making it even bloody worse. What is the point of VAR if it's going to give a wrong decision after a wrong decision? And by the way, Jonathan Moss, the referee, couldn't wait to get his whistle out against us every single time. In that first half, he gave them everything, and he couldn't wait to give them that penalty. Couldn't wait.
I tell you what, it wasn't even the greatest of spectacles of games for a neutral, and to be honest, I think he probably ruined that because he blew the whistle quite a lot for pointless fouls. He never let the game flow at all. And Alf, were you going to say something there?
No, I was just going to say I kind of agree with you, Stel, there. I don't think we actually matched them in terms of the first half or the second half, because I think they were just better at recovering, better positionally, they were more organised. They knew as soon as they lost the ball, they knew how to get the ball back. Whilst we tried at times, I thought they were better all around. So I think they just outclassed us. But I think the ref in the first half, definitely, and that Noble...
It was woeful.
That Noble yellow card that he got was just outrageous because he got the ball. Yes, there was a bit of follow through.
Noble clearly got the ball.
Clearly got the ball.
And then in the second half, when Declan Rice was running up and trying to get the ball down, hardly touched the player, and the linesman flagged. And then about a minute later, they fouled us, and they just carried on. It's just like it was awful. Lads. This phone is going to die, so I'm going to go and leave you and good luck, all right?
Cheers, mate.
Chat to you later.
Okay, all right, bye. Cheers.
Alf, we're talking about obviously the first half in particular. We've got the incident with the handball, and then we've got Diop pulls the player down, and that's where we've probably seen a little bit of inexperience from Ngakia, because I think Origi turns him quite easily in the middle of the box. And, Origi's a quality player, and then Diop kind of slapdash goes for the tackle, and if he didn't do that, the ball was probably going to go in the back of the net, and I don't know, can we put too much blame on Diop for that penalty?
I think it's one of those situations. He's right in the danger area. You'd almost concede, right, he's going to get a clear shot on goal here. I've got to do something. I don't think it was planned or in the sense of I'm bringing him down. I think it was just a lunge at the ball, which he missed. The player went over. The thing is, even if he was clear on goal, Fabianski was actually moving forward, so there's still an opportunity that he could have saved it, but you'll never know because obviously the foul was made. So it would have been close. I don't think it would have been a clear-cut goal. It would have been a good chance of getting a goal, but so there we go.
Sorry, I'm just...
and then Salah pops up. Clinical penalty. There you go, 1-0. Liverpool on their way again.
Of course. Yeah, He's got some crazy stats. I think he scored. I don't know. I don't have him in front of me, but in front of.
I think the thing is to remember about this game is that we were hopeful. We're always hopeful, but I don't, in our heart of hearts, we were expecting anything other than a defeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was hopeful that we could at least, push them, put them under a lot of pressure, and eked out a draw or a narrow 1-0 win. I was hoping that after 1-0, we would have got at them a little bit more, stopped them playing a lot more. And we kind of did. We kind of created our own chances, but we never really stopped them playing. And that's one of the big things, And whilst, I don't think the way he set up was too bad, actually.
I was going to say, so he set up with what, 5-3-2, two wing backs?
Yeah. I don't think it was a bad setup, actually. I thought it was quite good. I just don't think we have the pace and we have the organisation within the squad, within the team, to match a team like Liverpool, which is very pacey, is very quick, is very quick to recover positionally, and they're very organised. They know exactly what they're doing all the time. Absolutely. That pass from Salah to was it Firmino who got there second? No. Was it? No, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain. That was just beautiful. But he knew exactly what he had to do. He could see the gap straight away.
I want to come on to that, actually. I mean, just on that point with that pass, fantastic pass. But that second goal came from West Ham pushing on pressure and Liverpool counter-attack. And the biggest part, if you watch the highlight or the review of that goal in particular, obviously we've committed quite a few players forward. It kind of reminds me of, do you remember the last game of the season a few seasons ago when we got smashed by Liverpool and we were always judging a few of the players for just wandering back up, and in particular I think Nordvik got a hard time. You've just got to look at our two centre-halves, Diop and Ogbonna. Now, for me, I understand if you're chasing a game and you need to try and get a goal, but we were still, 25, 30 minutes to go, and they were jogging back, Alf. They were jogging back. And
this is what I mean by recovering your position. We just weren't recovering our positions quick enough. And I think we lost our heads a little bit a couple of times by committing too far forward into the penalty area. Again, lots of ifs and buts in this game. We were outplayed, I think, but also we had opportunities. We had 4 or 5 clear-cut opportunities where we could have scored. The Lanzini, Snodgrass, Rice.
Rice opportunity.
I think Ogbonna's header, which went over the bar, I was just thinking, crikey, you should have put that away. You should have put that away.
Yeah. I mean, the Rice opportunity was, he literally just drove forward and he hit the ball straight at Alisson, who then parried the ball back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who volleyed the ball against his own post. And that would have probably been one of the best own goals we've seen for a long time if it had gone in, but maybe it would have given us a fighting chance. I know Stell came on there and said that Snodgrass has not got the greatest of ability. I don't really say he does, but his work rate tonight, he was one of the only ones, again, showing his utter drive and determination and fight for this team. We can't fault that in him at all.
I think in the first half, we were definitely better. And we were trying to move forward. We had the first sort of 10, 15 minutes where it was all sort of Liverpool. And then all of a sudden, we actually started to create a few opportunities. I kind of disagree with Stell on the Masuaku thing. Whilst there at times it's still the same on Masuaku, actually, other times I thought he was doing a lot of good.
Yeah, on that left-hand side. I do actually,
And the first half as well, he put a few crosses in. He was keeping the ball in tight areas. A lot of the time, he was being surrounded by Liverpool players. They were double, triple teaming him, if you like, to use a wrestling term. But, he was still retaining the ball. He was, passing it back, whatever. So I think it's a bit harsh. I'm usually one of Masuaku's biggest critics, by the way. But I thought he did reasonably well, certainly in the first half. He kind of went off the boil in the second half a little bit. I thought he had missed opportunities to get the ball in the box. Haller, I thought, had another frustrating game for him. I thought, service, the crosses into, we talked about Ngakia, crossing the ball, and the quality of the delivery wasn't there. A lot of overhit passes or too far away from whoever was in the box, of course. But again, I don't think there was a lot from him or Lanzini tonight as a kind of a forward two, if you like.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. It's just, I don't know, maybe, I was probably reasonably surprised with, was I surprised with the team selection? I felt like he set up to go out and try and give them something. We certainly didn't sit back. We certainly didn't invite them. If anything, the two of their goals came from counter-attack because West Ham were committing players forward, which is something that, it wasn't the most beautiful game to ever watch. Like I said earlier on, the referee, in my opinion, spoiled most of it. I'd like
certainly from our point of view, he did.
Yeah. There's lots of comments coming in at the end. We'll quickly go through the comments. But, at the end of the day, Liverpool are clinical. Liverpool are that, level above. There's a reason why they are, now 19 points ahead in the league. And I thought we gave a reasonable, good rendition of ourselves, to be honest. Still, I think the boys have got to be commended here, and I'm probably going to say something a bit strange, but I think they'll be commended for just keeping it 2-0 because they could have easily dropped their heads, and it could have been 3 or 4-0. Yeah. And now we're only in 17th position by 1 goal difference above, or a goal difference. More than Bournemouth. Yeah.
If we'd lost 3-0, we would be on equal points, equal goal difference. If we lost 4-0, that's it. Tonight we would have been bottom 3.
Yeah.
So, at least we're not in bottom 3. Let's take some positives out of that, I think.
There's definitely something to be said for, Fabianski is quality.
Yeah.
I think I can count maybe 2 or 3 top-notch saves, but, the opposition keeper, he made what?
I was just about to say, he kept them in the game, or he denied them, our goals as well. Definitely,
absolutely.
He had a great game.
He was probably Liverpool's best player because of the quality saves that he made, and that's what we need to remember if we're trying to take some positives from this. Because for me personally, there are a couple of positives to take from this.
Yeah, look, we
didn't expect us to win. I know we have our predictions. And
Sure.
I'm not stupid, and you're not stupid when it comes to we know we're coming up against probably one of the best teams.
Look, if it was up to me, I'd always predict a 6-0 win. Yeah. But obviously, I say that for the video, obviously, but we all know.
Before we continue, please get your comments in. Let us know what your thoughts are and what we're saying. Let us know your thoughts on the game in particular. Let us know on this team selection. What did you think of Ngakia, his first 19-year-old start in the first team as he cemented his next game? And what's your thoughts on bringing Fabianski back? What was your thoughts on Lanzini starting? We'll move on to that point just now. I mentioned in the preview that I don't think many people know this, but what an interesting stat was, he is our highest creative midfielder or player in general throughout the side with 17 chances created, but he still doesn't look like the player that we know he can.
No, he doesn't. And I think...
And there was an interesting stat tonight, sorry, Alf, 92%-ish. I think his success pass rate was over 90% in the first half.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think that a lot of people still looked at him and thought you were just a waste of a player tonight. What's your thoughts on his performance?
The thing is, possession stats and pass completion stats can be really deceptive.
Yeah,
because you take somebody like Pirlo, for example, right? One of my favourite players in midfield of all time. Well, he'd probably have 100% pass completion rate or 99 every game, but most of his passes, the overwhelming majority of his passes were sort of tapping left and right, going backwards, short passes forward. Very rarely would he sort of, he would kind of keep the tempo of the game. And many ways, Lanzini was trying to do a little bit of that tonight. He was kind of keeping tempo, lots of little passes, but they're kind of ineffectual passes. You take a world-class player like Pirlo, for example, he was effective in what he did because he would put a killer pass in every now and again and split a defence. Whereas Lanzini, that's what we're seeing. we're not seeing good end product from him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Fornals came on. I feel really disappointed for Fornals. We've said it again in all the videos we've done this week. I feel disappointed because I feel like he hit form.
Yeah.
And then he was dropped, and now he's got to find this form again. So tonight he looked a bit wasted. He looked really light on the ball.
Yeah.
He got pushed off the ball really easy enough. And
yeah, I mean, he had an opportunity, didn't he? The ball came over, and he sort of had a half volley that kind of went well wide, really.
Yeah.
I think he was disappointed in that as well. I mean, totally mishit it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He just needs to run a games. He needs to run a game to get that confidence back. And I do agree that I would have Fornals in front of Lanzini. You know, if it's going to be one or the other, I would have Fornals there.
It's so.
I think his work rate is better
Yeah.
right now. I think his overall impact on the game is better. His energy is better, and I think that's what we need, really. You know,
And it is so important, though. That where was I going to go? Sorry, Sebastian Haller is going to be supported. I mean, I think we've seen enough now. We have seen enough now, and he needs. You know, if comments are coming in on the comment section, we'll bring some of them up before, and a lot of people are kind of starting to slate into Haller, but still to this day, I mean, I think we've only seen him with 2 games where he's been supported from the start. It's really tough to judge this guy because.
Yeah.
You know, he was brought in to do a specific job, and he is not being played to those strengths. And West Ham need to wake up to that, and Moyes needs to wake up to that and think whether that's going to be Antonio if he's going to be fit for the next game, or whether that's going to be Ajeti. But yeah, we need to wake up with this situation and think he's not suited.
Sure.
What was he going to do tonight, Alf? Really, what was he going to do tonight up against this strong Liverpool side?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to judge Haller in that regard because of, you're right. You know, if you're coming up against Virgil van Dijk, who was just immense at times, I thought, again, the way he sort of shepherded players, you know, away from danger, and just the way he marshalled the game as well from the back.
Yeah.
He was never going to have a successful game. But you're right. It's the way he's supported, the way the crosses come in. I think we're trying under Moyes. There is that element of trying to get the ball in, trying to get that cross in. It's the quality of delivery and also when it's done. Now, the interesting thing is, let's not analyse this game so much. Let's analyse the Brighton game.
Well,
that's where we're going to see if all this work, all this kind of build-up, all this improvement and the creation of chances is actually going to have a much better effect against somebody like Brighton.
Absolutely. The Brighton preview will be out tomorrow night. We could easily go into that probably right now. I mean, let's briefly touch on it. We, of course, before the game today, we announced the signing of Souček, or Souček. I think people are starting to put pronunciations all over the place. And, but we're getting quite a lot of comments on our YouTube videos from people who are supporting him in his native country. And they're constantly bigging this guy up. They're saying, listen, guys, this is the next Czech superstar. You've got a hold of this boy at such a good stage of his career, and he will make such a difference. My concern is that it's an exciting prospect, but the players in and around him still aren't fast enough. And we'll come to the comments. That people are making that point in here. We are slow in the uptake. We're slow in trying to go forward. And like there was a chance, I think, where I can't remember, was it Snodgrass or someone kicked the ball over in front of the and then it was like Fornals went to try and get the ball, he just missed it. But most other oppositions would just have looked up, went over and gone forward, but instead he looked back, and then because he couldn't get the ball to anyone, he just went for a random just hit the ball somewhere towards the box, and it bounced away and parried, and then Liverpool went on the counter attack again. And that's my biggest concern is, and I think it's everyone's concern. You can see the comments coming in. Alf, we are slow, and that's why I've stated for a long time that, you know, bringing in Souček, I think he's getting.
It's one player. It's one player.
It's one player. Yeah. But we need another player with the mindset to think forward And we do miss Anderson for that, and hopefully Souček
Sure.
can definitely help him. But one player that is available, and it's a player like Ross Barkley. And well, if he is or he isn't, but I mean, he would have made a difference tonight. And apparently, another rumour that's kicking out is West Ham are going to try and go for a loan deal for Lallana from Liverpool, because you know he's going to be wanting an opportunity. I know Liverpool are going to be really not interested in letting players go. They want squad depth, but you know. They're the sort of players, creativity, playing at a high level, are capable of doing the job, who think fast, who think on their feet, who would make such a difference to West Ham.
I think right now Moyes is playing with a bit of a loaded deck, really, and the deck is loaded against him in terms of the players that we've got, the form that they're in, and the pace within the side.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of issue. You can criticize Moyes, all you like in terms of tactics and substitutions and formations and all that kind of stuff, and player selection. We could all do that. That's not being big and clever. But I think if you've really got to appreciate the problems within the squad, and you're right. When we get Anderson back, if we had a fit Antonio. If we, all the other players are on form, let's say, we've got on paper still a very good side. It's whether, all the chess pieces, are working together and you can get them, on fighting as, playing together as a unit.
Yeah.
If we've got that, I mean, again, it's a tough game to analyze this one, because we were, in my opinion, we were just outclassed.
Yeah, and
we were outcast in the way Liverpool were very much like Barcelona tonight, or they have been all season, in that it's not what you do, the classic tale, isn't it? It's not what you do when you got the ball, it's what you do when you haven't got the ball. And they were much better at that than we were tonight. A team unit, a team in unity, a team that moved forward together, a team that defend together. And you definitely can see that. And that defence that Liverpool have got, that back line, I mean, that's always going to be tough to beat. And I do, if there was a game we had a chance, it was tonight against them. I really don't look forward to the away tie. That's the thing. I mean, it's going to be a hostile atmosphere there. It's going to be tough, very tough to get any kind of thing there. And what I fear most now is not the beating, it's the manner of the beating and the goal difference, because that could cripple us. The Man City game as well.
Before we go into the comments, Alf, I mean, what was the one positive you can take from tonight?
The positive? Well, I think there are some positives. Whilst I'm, being quite negative in some ways, Fabianski, I thought was great. I think, bringing on some of the youth in Ngakia was great. I think the opportunities, whilst we were kind of fumbling our way into creating opportunities, I think they were there. I think we are starting to put more balls into the box. Okay, the quality still isn't there, but we are starting to do that. So there are still some positives. There, I think. We are lacking pace. We are lacking that drive, that energy, all over the park. And we are still going to be weak in defence. I think sometimes, as we said before, we were a little bit naive at times going forward, I think, against this Liverpool. I think, see, for me, as I said in the preview, for me, it was never about being strong in defence or being, going forward and trying to score goals. Actually, it was the middle ground, the midfield. That's where I think we needed to pack it out, with really supporting wing backs. So say sort of three in midfield, real supporting wing backs, and actually bolster that midfield, push up from defence as well, compress the midfield to frustrate the hell out of Liverpool. And that's where they were getting most of their success tonight, by passing it around, lots of quick movement in midfield. There was probably about twice that they actually played a long ball out from defence and played a long ball all the way upfield.
Yeah.
But that's it. Most of the time it was coming through midfield, and that's where we kind of failed, if you want to use that word, failed to compress the game and frustrate them.
My positive.
Look, I've got to say, sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
It's a lot easier to say that than do that, of course.
Yeah, of course.
It's a lot easier said than done. Yeah.
I have to say my positive from tonight was, if I had to choose one positive from the whole thing, was Jeremy and Ngakia. I think, if anything, that's just highlighted the fact that we don't need to go into the market for a right back as long as we've got the backup in Zabaleta just now until Fredericks is back fit. But I definitely think he is more than capable, and I think it will be nice to see him start a second game against Brighton. So
I would.
Yeah,
I think he's done enough.
He's done enough. He's definitely
done enough. Definitely done enough for me.
Like I said, guys, we're going to go into the questions now. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for our preview against Brighton. And then on Friday, we'll have a transfer special. But let's just get straight into the questions. We'll try and run through these, Alf, because there is a lot.
Yeah.
So thoughts on the penalty? Why wasn't handball given? Does any official give anything against Liverpool? We should have had more from that game. Rice, man of the match for me, and right back played well. That's from Hammerwell, a regular on the show. We've covered the penalty, so we'll just very briefly do it. Rules are rules. They state that the ball touches the hand, it should be disallowed. So I'm a bit unsure about the policy and how they decide that. Because
I think the difference is, for me, it's if there's a doubt that it's because there didn't seem to be ball deflection from the hand. It seemed to be one motion. So if there's doubt, for me, I would say it's a handball. However, maybe sorry.
They're saying that's the rule, though. They say if there's a goal scored and the ball touches the hand in any manner whatsoever, that is
but from the angle we were seeing it, you can't really see if there's a ball deflection.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one because you're assuming it has hit the hand, but it's almost like you need the camera angle from the other side, like 360 degrees, to see it.
Yeah,
maybe they've got that information, they're not showing it. I don't know, because it is all about 3D imaging with that VAR, and But on the face of it, I would say it's a handball.
Tone has wrote in, do you think Antonio and the Czech lad will start against Brighton, and surely that is the end of Lanzini's chances to start over Fornals? Tone, I don't think it is the end of Lanzini's chances, to be honest.
No,
I think favours him. I think he's going to keep favouring him, to be honest. And I'm not dead against it. I do think Fornals, decided to start. I think Lanzini needs to be dropped. But if we can find Lanzini's form, then we've definitely got a player. And maybe what's his name? Moyes will give Lanzini a chance for Brighton, and maybe he'll come back and do something we don't know. But in answer to your question about Antonio, do you think Antonio will start, and obviously Souček will start?
I hope so. I mean, I don't know I actually don't know what the state of his fitness is and all that kind of stuff. So I really couldn't say. I hope he does. Antonio, I think I saw there in that comment as well.
Yeah, he did.
Not too sure about that. I actually wasn't aware that his hamstring was as severe as it was, or potentially could be. I thought it was just a bit of an ache and that's it. I was actually surprised that he wasn't in tonight. And then obviously when I spoke to you guys and you said, no, it's worse than it is, I was like, oh, okay.
It could be a precaution. It could be.
Yeah.
So we could be reading into that too much. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see him against Brighton, Alf, because we desperately need a result.
Yeah, I do.
I honestly think that they would probably risk him for this game because they've got the next run of games coming up, and if I think
the
result this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I think personally, having Haller and Antonio up front together is going to be our winning combination up there.
Yeah.
Personally, and that's what I think. Get Antonio a bit closer to Haller, let him feed off the balls, and then create opportunities, create a bit of mayhem in the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
And then see if we can get some crosses in there, and I'm with you. I would start Fornals over Lanzini, but I wouldn't dismiss Lanzini at all because I think he's still a good 60-minute substitution. Let him find his way back into the side.
Absolutely. We've got loads of comments, so I'm going to try and go through quite a few of these quickly. Hi, Neil. Lanzini needs to go and Noble needs to be benched. I think we'll probably see Noble benched for the next game, to be honest.
Possibly. He needs a rest. He needs a rest as well.
Yeah. Tone, once we get Anderson and Antonio back with Masuaku and the young right back, that is enough attacking pace. We just need a fast centre midfielder. Maybe this Souček has got the ability. I mean, he scores goals, he's box to box, he's fast, he's athletic, he's young. Maybe we can see that in him.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, for me, I know he hadn't played much this season, but I'd give Hammer of the Year to Fabianski for his professionalism and consistency. I really can't deny the fact that Fabianski has probably kept us in the season somehow, somewhere.
Yeah. We'll need him now. We need him to the end of the season. And let's face it, most of our woes have come from lacking in confidence from our keeper as well, and the inability to stop goals going in.
Yeah.
Whilst Fabianski still lets in goals, of course, because he can't do everything. It would be a cricket score without him. So
absolutely. John, we are slow. Yep, I couldn't agree with you anymore.
Yeah, we are.
Fabianski never makes a mistake. It's insane. He doesn't look like he does. He is quality, much needed, as Alf said. Salah looked better, but still not enough.
Hammer's at 8. Hammer's at 8. He's been looking better at times. I give you that, but you're right. It's still not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough at all. Hammerwell, it was handball. Our Liverpool real winners, when they get many decisions, go for them. I mean, it's just the rules, and the rules are crap.
Yeah.
At least it was only 2-0, John, sorry, I wish you had not taken my bet, and maybe you should have just betted on Liverpool to win 2-0. At least,
Joan, I did say to you, Joan, put your money back in your purse. Don't listen to Anton and Stel.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about football.
I certain James Baker, who is actually my dad.
Hello, James. Hello, how are you?
He doesn't look like that anymore. I'm only joking, he does. He said Fabianski saved us from dropping into relegation zone. Absolutely, couldn't agree with you anymore.
He did. Yeah.
Shouldn't have been that tough though. Okay, let's just replying to that. Let's just see what other comments we've got. Ref gives decisions for Liverpool players' reactions. Watch them clap him straight away. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Looked like a training game for Liverpool. To be honest, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. I thought it was at times. Definitely did look like that. Last sort of 10, 15 minutes especially.
I don't think Liverpool are as good as everyone makes it. I think they benefit from officials. I do think they benefit from officials, but I do think they are as good as what they look like.
No, I think they are. I just don't think they're put under enough pressure, just like Man City last season. I just don't think they're put enough pressure. If you put them under pressure, a team will crack. They will make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. We got beaten by the best club in the world, possibly. Yeah, it's hard to just...
Stel just said, I heard that. Yes, you, Stel. Yes.
All officials...
You know nothing, Stel.
All officials love the top six. Keep it an exciting league. Watch Wolves v Liverpool City and you'll see. Chris Pill says, love you guys. We will also say love you back. Thanks for you watching. Poor officials in both games and both robbed Wolves to serve the top two. We have an evil twin in here called Iron United, and he says, evening twin. Our last two games against Liverpool have seen 2 offside goals given them against us. Yep, they have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read all the comments. I'm going to try and skip by and just see if there's anything else.
There was one right at the end here. Mikhail Anderson, I don't know if you're a Liverpool fan or West Ham fan, I don't know. But he said, how could you ever say that a handball that was a handball on penalty? No clear images that conclude anything. I actually did say that. That's what I'm actually saying.
Yeah.
For me, it was a handball, but perhaps we're not seeing the full imagery of it, all the angles. So it's hard to say. So I just want to make that clear. You're right. Better images, better clear images will be able to positively tell us.
Matthews wrote here, I hope all our fans can get behind the team. We need to be as positive as we can.
Absolutely.
Every home game.
Yeah.
If the team puts effort in, we're not a championship team. Do you know what, Matthew? Yes, sometimes it takes for a comment like that to really remind the fans, even myself, and not get carried away. We do these videos, we put our voice out there. Sometimes we get carried away, and yeah, you're right. If players can play on their day and are fit, we've got an opportunity. Guys, we're only going to give you 2 more minutes of the show because we're very wary that we...
Based on that, all I would say is that sometimes we do look like a championship side, and we look like a poor championship side. Other times we look a lot better. Tonight we looked better, a lot better. We just weren't good enough against Liverpool. But then again, most teams aren't.
Yeah, John completely agrees with you, Matthew. We have a lot of injured players too, which we do. Lots of fixtures with the older, slower team.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Let's have a look here. Matthew again said we did give it a go. I thought we actually did, to be honest. I didn't think we brought the bus.
I did. I think we did. We had our opportunities. And as I say, on another day, on another night, we could have had, could we have had 3, 4, 5 goals?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we had the opportunities there. Definitely.
Rice was our biggest threat. For fuck's sake. Yeah. I thought West Ham played well. Let's see what we've got here. Antonio must play on Saturday for us to have a chance. Possibly. I'm not sure if he will, though. We have to see the one thing we must not do with Antonio is bring him in because we need him. Yeah. He's got to have time for that to recover.
Otherwise, we're either talking a career injury here, career-ending injury, or problems, or he'll never be properly fit. Those couple of seasons where I was always slating him, most of the reason was because he was out of form, but he was never really properly fit. And that's one of the issues.
Jones saying Moyes sounds so much better in the press conference. Jay says, "Come on, you Irons. Maybe you should lend us Klopp and some players." Matthew Carter makes a valid point. Lanzini's not positive enough. We know his quality, but I've not seen it in ages. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
Talk about it more of that tomorrow. Fornals must start. Lanzini was terrible today from Stell. Moyes from my dad has just said we have to play this way, particularly with the games to come. Again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But I mean, it's not the worst performance West Ham have put in.
No.
So it's not.
It wasn't totally defensive, and it wasn't totally naive going forward. There was a bit of a mixture there as well. But as I say, I think if we can start to dominate the midfield or pressurize the midfield a lot more, I think we'll be more successful.
I think we're going
even if we have to go to something like a 5-4-1. That might work out better for us.
Yeah.
In these games, these next games. Not Brighton, but Liverpool, Man City, especially what I'm talking about.
Neil said, "I thought Masuaku did all right tonight, especially in the first half."
I thought so. I
disagree with Stell on that one. I think Stell's a dislike towards Masuaku.
I'm usually a Masuaku hater, if you will, but I thought he did all right. Yeah.
Still saying expect a 4-3-3 on Saturday. Fabianski and Gokia. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're not going to do that just now because we could be here all night again.
We've got a comment right at the end here. It's unknown, so I don't know who you are. And I assume it says you're a Liverpool fan. It said West Ham played okay against us, but weren't clinical. And I think you're absolutely right. Whoever you are, I think you're right. That's a fair comment. We weren't clinical enough.
Yeah. Absolutely. Long dark tunnel and Gakia, man of the match for me. I think
he had a decent first half.
Between him and Fabianski and possibly Rice. Yeah, I think the three of them were probably
great first appearance, great debut, I thought.
Yeah. James makes a valid point here. Sometimes his fans don't help just when going forwards and the player hesitates, then there's a huge groan around the stadium. That's really not good for confidence, like behind the team. James, I know that, but I think that's probably in every football stadium. I don't think you're ever really going to change. I do agree with you. In general, we should be behind the team. But when a team's moving forward and in my lifetime of supporting West Ham and going to the game since I've been a kid, I've always seen that kind of like moving forward, the player opposition clears it, and you're like, and you can't help it. It's just a normal reaction in my opinion.
Stell's just sent a message in. He's saying 4-3-3 Alf.
Yeah. 4-3-3.
He's going ultra positive. 4-3-3.
Do you know what though? Do you know what? I sometimes think to myself, West Ham need a victory so bad. I mean, are we throwing ourselves under the bus? We will. Do you know what, Alf? Let's not go there. We've got a bright preview.
Right.
We're sitting on a 45 minutes. So I'll give you the last comment of the night, and then we'll close it down. And there goes my flag behind me. You should be proud. There's a goal in quality, and you've had a great performance, especially your goalkeeper.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And my dad is saying good night. Listen, we obviously are disappointed by the result tonight, probably reasonably expected. And make sure you get your comments in, hit the thumbs up. There's a lot of people in the chat. There's comments I didn't even get to because we could be here all night doing the comments. So please, listen, you've been giving us so much support over the last week. Keep it up. Please hit the thumbs up. It's massively important if you do that. Give us feedback. Once this video has finished, go into the comments section once the video is uploaded to the YouTube and get the comments in below. It's really important. We try our best to respond to absolutely everything. Yep. Alf and myself and Stella and all the other guys try our best to respond to everything as much as we can. It's really, really great to hear the nice feedback as well. Disappointing, we're West Ham first and foremost, and it's really disappointing we can't get a victory. Desperate for a victory against Brighton. It's going to be really, really important. Again, like I said, make sure if you are going on Saturday, which I am, it's the first since December for me, and I'll be down for the Brighton game. So come to the Supporters Club beforehand, catch us for a drink. The closest bar to the stadium, an absolutely fantastic location. for meeting loads of West Ham fans. And of course, tomorrow night we've got the Brighton preview, so that will be on about 7:30 on Friday night. From the Friday night, we've got a special transfer show, goes live from 7 o'clock all the way through to 11:15 p.m. with loads of guests. Saturday we'll have the review live from the Supporters Club, and then bang, we're going on to that. One last comment in here: the West Ham channels and fans are too negative. Possibly some channels are, some channels aren't, but you know, we do spend a lot of time putting our voice out there. So
we've had a lot to be negative about, in all fairness, over the last sort of 10 years, but certainly since moving. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but there's been a lot going on as well. You know, what
I would say is, let's just get behind the team. Brighton next. Let's be positive. Let's get safe. We need to get safe. So let's just keep this. I don't know. I was going to say momentum. We don't have any momentum. Let's start a momentum.
I just want to say one thing. If you ever want to appear on one of the videos as a guest opinion, if you like, just email us via the website, ironsunited@wordpress.com. Come on one of our shows. You're more than welcome. If you ever see us at the ground, please come up and say hello to us. We're always really friendly. Well, I am. Anton isn't. And Stel just talks Greek. I mean, nobody can understand him anyway.
Yeah.
But there you go. Look, just come and say hello to us. You're more than welcome. Get to the Supporters Club. So as Anton said, you know, let them know that we're in there. You've come to see us. They'll probably go, who? But you can get in there. You know, if you ask for one of us here, like Stel or Anton or whatever, me.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up. He's been Alf. I've been Anton. We've been Irons United. Come on, you Irons.
Up the Hammers.
Up the Hammers.